Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So let's continue our project so we can complete it. We're actually more than halfway there. So let's do some finishing up. So far what we have is we can do pretty much what we need to do here. And the only part is we need to submit our sales data to the database. Once we finish clicking away here and adding items like this, okay, so everything works fine here. It's just when we want to submit, we are sending the data, but it's not going anywhere. So let's check our code and see what we have so far. So in the app views, home view, down here we have a part that sends the data through the checkout. So this is the one right here. We already added data type as checkout, and then we have text which transforms the item. We add this array to text, and then because this is stringified when sending the data, it's going to go as a string, so which is good. So all we need to do now is intercept this data on the AJAX side of things. So let me go to the controller and click on AJAX here. And let's see, for now we have if object is equal to search. This is exactly the if statement we need. So let me copy that right at the bottom here where this matches that. We're going to put an else statement and then repeat that if statement, and then close it like so. But then we can change this to checkout. Okay, so at least we know now that we are receiving the data round about here. Yeah, alrighty then. So let's go to let's see here how we get our data. So obj data type, right? So let's look at the obj text over here. So here I'm just going to say, let's see here, I just want to echo, because this is supposed to be a string. So instead of data type, which I know is going to be checkout, I want to echo the text and see what I get. Now also I want to return something here, because we will need to return some info sometimes, maybe just to tell the user that data has been saved. So let's remind this one that we are this is the checkout, so that on the other side we can receive better information. So there's data here, so instead of echoing, maybe actually let me just echo that data. Let me remove this for now, and what I'll do is go to the home, because I want to see the result of that echo. And so I'm going to look at the handle result section. Is it handle result? There we go. And I just want the result barcode. Let's see what's happening. Okay, great. So right here on the console.log, I will undo that one so that I get a console result. So refresh this so that we can start again and add a few items. So we've added 3 items here. So let me inspect the element just so I can open the console. And this is what I have. So let me clear that. And let's try to run a checkout. So click on that, and what amount do I put? Let's try 60 there, and it will show me my change, which is awesome. But there we go. We have some issues here. We have errors instead. So it says array to string conversion on line 50, right? Okay, so array to string conversion means, and it's saying undefined variable rows on line 53, so 50 and 53. So in the AJAX file, so where is that? 50 right here, and 53. Okay, so because this one came in as an object, an array actually, so when we unstringified it here, where we JSON decode, it became an array. So we are trying to echo an array which does not end well. So instead, let's use the show function here, which is print readable, and undefined variable rows. That's true because we don't have rows here. We don't really need this, but maybe some data. We can just say items saved successfully. That would be the message we send back, so we'll send it in data. So for now, let's let that be. And I can just, since this is the PHP side and we're using AJAX, I can just clear this and run this kind of thing again, and it's going to work out just fine. So clear that. I don't need to refresh the page. Okay, so we have a problem here, which is good that we can see this problem. And let me see what I did here exactly, so I can replicate it when I need to. So there's crisps, so good, that's 1-1. Crisps, so good, and burger, which is 2, and biscuit. So crisps, so good, burger, and biscuit. So this is the only thing I haven't added, and I've added 2 burgers. So let me clear everything and try to replicate this problem. So click, 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 and let's see if the problem shows up again. Okay, so there we go. So this decimal, this is way too much, too many decimal places. So let me fix that real quick before we continue. But actually, we'll fix that in a minute. I want to see the result. So let me check out here and let's try and add a 50 there. Click next, and as you can see, that's the change. And so far it seems things are good because this is the data we got from the other side. So this is the information that I am sending to the other side, right? Quantity 1, quantity 1. Let me try different quantities. Let's see if I have crisps here. Will it show that it's 3? The quantity is 3. So check out, and let's add 15 there. That's our change, and it's showing the right quantity. So that's good. Okay, so pretty good. We don't really need to send this information like the image, the user ID, the date. This is irrelevant information, and so what we really need to send, if let's say you have, because the advantage of this is that this is going to be on a local machine, right? Because the point of sale usually is on a local machine, but there are times when you want to make it online because you want to have a central database where you have many branches of the same shop. So in that case, it's going to be online, and then each one will have to log in from their respective branches. So in that case, where you're actually sending information over a long distance, it means the more information you send, the more likely that things will hang, or something might go wrong, or the information may not reach. So in this case, you may want to remove things like image, because we really don't need these things. The real thing we need is just to know the quantity and the item itself. So just the ID of the item and then the quantity is enough, because using the ID on the PHP side, we can simply read from the database and regain all this information from that, just the ID. But the quantity, because that comes from the user, that is required. But things like the price, who actually added this, the date, the views, this is all irrelevant information. So the only things we need is this one and that one. That really reduces the load of information that we have to send. So in this case, before I close all that, what we can do, if you really want to do that, is this. Right here where we're actually sending the data. Let me move down here for a second. This is the checkout. So instead of just supplying the items array, we can go through the array and then remove information that we want to remove and then send it. But because we are emptying it immediately after, we can simply manipulate the items array itself instead of making a copy. So here what I can do is I say remove unwanted information. Okay, so that's up to you. But let's see here for a second. But if you don't remove the information, you can use exactly this information to figure out, like for example, quantity and amount. If you multiply these two and then get the description, the barcode, etc., etc., this is pretty useful information. Yeah. But if network and data are a problem, then you can remove unwanted information by conducting a loop. So we can do a for loop right here. It doesn't matter the order that we are doing this. So front, let's try this one. And then we go to items like this. So this particular item is a row of data. So what I want to remove from this row of data is, for example, the barcode and image. Let's try all these things: date, barcode, image. So what we will do is use a splice, right? Let's see here. So in this one, it's an array. So we want to remove specific items here. So I'm wondering what function to use here in JavaScript, because, well, what I can do is remove these using splice. Now, unfortunately, the problem is yeah, this is a tricky one. Unfortunately, the thing is, as you remove items here, yeah, maybe this is not a good idea. Deleting might not be a good idea. So instead, what we will do is just create a new array instead. So let's try that instead, right? So I'm going to say var items. Let's call this one items new, right? Let's say it's equal to an empty version, an empty array like this. So items I, let's see here, what do we do? So this one will hold the items, but I want to get specific items from this one right now. Like for example, I want to get the items dot, or instead of using the dot notation, let's use quantity like this. That one is a must. And also, what do I need? Let's see here, the ID, right? So the ID and the quantity. That's all I really need here. But let's add description just so we can see what's going on as well. So also here, I'm going to add an item, a variable. I'm going to call this one, let's just call it A, or temp like this is equal to an empty array. And then I will say temp dot push, just so I can add this item to the array. And maybe what to do here? Let's see, does this work like this? I've never tried. You know, I'm very used to PHP, so that's why I'm struggling a little with JavaScript. I never actually use this for I rarely do this from the JavaScript point of view. Anyway, let's try it and see what happens. So here I want to add an ID. I don't know if this works like this, but it looks like it can. So let's copy all of that and let's paste it here. And this one is quantity, of course, comma, and this one is description. If it doesn't work, we'll use the we'll use the object notation instead. So these ones have been added to this. So I'm adding to this array, right? But every time through the loop, I'm recreating this array. So that's good. And then when I'm done, I can add them to the overall items new right there. So I'll say items new dot push as well, and push the temp in there. And then finally here I can add the items new instead. So great. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. All right, so let's add this item. We just need one item for show. Let's go in there, 50. Let's click next, and there we go. So this is what we have instead. We have, this doesn't look too organized. We have ID, we have for, we have quantity, we have description, we have burger. Nope, this is not what I wanted at all. So what I'll do instead is let's use the let's see if I do this. Will this work at all? Like this, and say it's equal to, like that. Go to the end. Where is end? Where is end? Okay, there we go. Remove that. Let's see if this delivers as I think it should. Let's click that and let's check out 10, enter. Nope, that is even worse. Looky there. Okay, so let's try the dot notation. Let me put this as an object, like so. I prefer objects. JavaScript is kind of tailored for objects a little bit more than arrays, so it seems. So let me try it like this. I definitely know this will work. See, I'm used to using objects a lot in JavaScript, so when it comes to arrays, I forget things because I rarely use them in array mode, except in object mode. Yes. Okay, so sign out again, check out, sorry, enter, and there we go. So we have one item with an ID and a quantity and a description as we wanted it to be. So let me add several items so that you see the difference here with several items. So clickety click, clack, clack, clack. So I have two items there, and let me check out with 200, and there we go. So as you can see now, we are doing better. Yes, so we have one item with an ID of 5, and then it has a quantity of 2. I just added the description there just so we can know that these are the actual items, but we don't need that. So all we need really is the ID and the quantity, the ID and the quantity. And then once we get to the PHP side, we can simply read from the database to get the item and then get its data. So in this case, I will remove the description as well, like that. Okay. So the point of this is to send as little data as possible, because if this was your point of sale and then it's a distance away from the server itself, where the point of sale is online, you need to send as little data as possible. You don't need to send the image, path, all that stuff is irrelevant, right? Because the date, all those things can be recreated from the PHP side. So no need to send them over the wire. So let me click here and add a few more items, and let's try another checkout and see how lean the information is. So let's press enter, and there we go. So much cleaner, just the ID and the quantity, everything we need. Okay, so save that. Now if you don't need to do that, let's say your point of sale is local and it's not online, then you can simply skip this step and put items here instead of items new, because that's the item that contains the actual arrays. Okay, very good. And then you can allow all the information to go as you wish. Now on the other side here, we just have to utilize that information we've gotten from here, and let's see how we can do that in the next video.